As you listen to this story set in the Christmas season, you'll notice that I'm telling it in the third person. Therefore, it may or may not be about me, or someone I know, or someone you know. You'll have to decide that for yourselves. You may find a hidden message within the story, or you may not. Either way, enjoy the ride. The two boys were huddled together near the schoolhouse wall, away from the others in the yard. Most of the middle schoolers were lined up at various school buses, waiting to board. Of the two boys, one was animated, doing most of the talking, while the other was still, head down, shaking it as if to express silent disagreement.
Come on, Joe, you're gonna get left!
The tall boy nodded his head. He hurriedly thrust something into the quiet boy's hands and ran for the bus.
I'm coming! Thanks, Mr. Baker.
No problem. Go ahead and sit down.
He was the last
nice,
on board.
dude.
Joe made his way to the back of the bus where another boy sat waiting. The two had been using the two rear seats for years, their family homes being in the same neighborhood. Joe sat in a seat across the aisle from the other. The reason for this unusual arrangement was that one of the boys, Randall, called Chunk by his friends, and others who were decidedly not friends, had such a generous girth that his frame took up more than half a bus seat. If Joe were to attempt to sit by Chunk, it would have left him hanging out into the aisle, which the bus driver didn't allow. So he sat across the aisle to be near his friend.
What were you doing with Alfredo?
Just talking. How long have we been friends, Chunk?
Since preschool. You know that. We're in the 7th grade, so 7 or 8 years? What gives?
I got a problem I can't talk about to anybody else. You're my best friend, so I don't think you'll laugh at me much.
No way, man. What's the big hush-hush?
I want to ask Becky Watson to our church's Christmas party.
Wow. You aim high, my man. She's the hottest girl in our grade. Everybody likes her.
I know.
How are you gonna have a real date when you can't even drive? Walk a few miles? Yeah, that'll go over real big.
My dad would drive us, I'm sure. Or we could meet there.
So what's the problem?
I'm afraid she won't go with me. Or that she'll laugh at me. Or that she likes someone else. Or I'll look stupid. Or lots of things.
Tomorrow's the last day of school before Christmas break. When is this party?
Sunday night?
Why wait until the last minute?
I'm scared, Chunk. Scared she'll say no. Scared what the others will say when they find out that she said no. Scared of the whole business.
I'm afraid I can't help you there, bro. I have 0 experience with girls. I don't even have sisters. What's the big deal? I've seen you talking to her before. You were partners in the English poetry project, for crying out loud.
I know, but this is different. I wish there was some way I could know the answer before I ask. If I knew she was gonna say no, I would just forget it and save myself a bunch of misery.
I might know a way.
Really? Great!
But it would have to stay secret.
What is it?
Go ask Mrs. Palmer.
No way! Some say she's a witch.
Exactly. Some say she can tell the future. Wouldn't it be worth it to know about Becky?
I don't know. I have heard some crazy things about her. Remember Mrs. Jones' baby? Sick in the hospital? I heard that Mrs. Palmer went to the hospital. She put some kind of secret potion on the baby. They say she started speaking some kind of incantation over her, using strange, mysterious words. Mrs. Martin, you know, a nurse, said Mrs. Palmer had her eyes closed and hands raised up too. Mom says she thinks it was some kind of weird spell. Nurse Martin said it was a prayer. But to who, I ask? Weird, huh?
I've heard all that too. Spooky.
Yeah, and get this, the baby got well quick. Devil business, my mom says. Mom says she probably reads palms. That her name Palmer actually means fortune teller.
I heard her husband died and she married someone else. Makes you wonder how the guy died, don't it?
I don't know about that. Besides, people die for lots of reasons. It might have nothing to do with the witchcraft.
True. You could just not go to the party. Or go by yourself.
I could, but you know how I am. I get an idea in my head and it just won't leave. Now you've just put another idea in there and I don't think it'll leave either. Some friend you are.
I am your friend, Joe. Tell you what, I'll go with you to the fortune teller if you want. I know where she lives. I won't go to the door though, but I'll stay close by.
I don't know if I'm more scared of talking to Becky or talking to the fortune teller. She's so strange. No telling what she'll do.
If she says yes about Becky, you'll still have to go through with asking Becky, you know.
Yeah, but at least I know the answer in advance, so it might not be so hard.
True.
You'll go with me then? To see Mrs. Palmer?
Sure.
But wait! What if she won't talk to me?
Give her a present?
I don't have any money. You?
Nah, but I saw you type an extra cookie at lunch today. Still have it? You could offer it.
It was 3, actually. I was gonna eat them after school, for a kinda after-school snack. But I saw Alfredo skip lunch. Probably no lunch money again, so I gave them to him.
Always the do-gooder. Maybe you didn't do much of a favor. I'd have to be starving to eat something extra out of that lunchroom. And you know how I like food.
Well, my mom's out of town, and if you think school lunch is awful, you should eat my dad's cooking. Here's my house. Maybe I'll offer to give her my allowance for my fortune told. I've been saving it for Christmas. Can you meet me at my house in 15 minutes? I need to get the money.
Okay. It shouldn't take long to get there. She only lives a few blocks from our house. And, I'll go to the door with you.
Thanks, man. See you soon!
If this woman is really a witch, what do you think she might do?
I've heard they like to draw a person's blood. You don't think she'll want us to give some, do ya?
Or maybe cut off a finger or something in payment.
Or maybe just a slice of skin off your leg, or something.
Or just a cut. This deal is yours, bro. I ain't giving no blood.
Me neither. So you don't think my savings is enough payment? It's $25. If neither of us can offer blood, what if she asks for my dog? Or yours?
What if she asks us to go without food? You know I can't go without eating. I'd rather give blood than do that.
Hey! Wait. We're starting to panic. If she asks too much, we'll just leave.
Did you see that?
See what?
That!
Just a manger scene. They're all over town. It is Christmas, you know.
Yeah, but this one doesn't have a baby Jesus in it. Everything else, no Jesus. Wouldn't that be something a witch would do?
Oh man, you're right! And what about these black birds? Well, we've come this far. Shh. Tango 6 Delta. Watch my back. Over. Shh.
Shh. That's a cop. Shh.
Hello? What can I do for you?
We have a problem and would like to talk.
Have a seat.
The boys sat side by side on a white leather couch, behinds barely on the sofa. They were skittish as unbroken colts, and ready to bolt at the slightest sign of trouble, both sitting stock still, hands on knees. still as statues. They stared at the woman before them. Neither had ever witnessed a sight like what was before them, at least not in real life. The woman was auburn-haired, which was common enough, but that was where commonality ended. She had white rubber gloves on and a white smudge on her nose. Her dress was a white floor-length gown covered by some kind of mesh material. On her head was a kind of crown, not large like a queen or princess might wear, but small and dainty, sort of ladylike, really. The white rubber gloves seemed a bit out of place, though, with such an outfit. But what captured their attention, such that they could not look away, was what was in her hand. She held something that looked like a wand.
My name is Eleanor Palmer. And who might you be?
My name is Joe, and this is Randall. And I have a problem.
Why come to me then, Joe and Randall? How can I help?
Like I said, I have a problem that we think you might be able to help us with. I want to ask this girl to go with me to a party, but I don't know if she'll go with me or not, or whether she even knows I like her. We have never talked about stuff like that, and I've never asked her anything serious. She's the most popular girl in her grade, and all the guys like her, but I want her to like me. We heard she getting mysterious things and thought if she gave you some money, you might tell us whether or not she'll go with me. Randall is my friend, and he's here for moral support, but if my allowance is not enough, we'll just leave, and we're sorry we wasted your time.
Would you like some cookies? I have just this moment finished baking them. Fresh out of the oven.
No!
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you say yes? She might have some potion in him to knock us out or something.
I was hungry.
You're always hungry. Too late now, but don't eat the whole thing. Just kind of nibble the edge a bit to be polite. But don't eat it.
How about some milk with your cookies?
No, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Meh.
The potion must have gotten him. Since I already have tasted it, the potion probably has me too. If it has me, may as well go all the way.
Do you like them? Let me get this straight. You think I am a mysterious woman who can tell whether this girl will go to a party with you, and you were willing to pay me to do it? Is that about it?
Yes, ma'am.
What makes you think I can do something like that?
We have heard that you have mysterious powers. We thought maybe you might use these powers to help me.
I don't have powers. What would you call someone who had such powers?
A witch.
Ah, I thought so. And how did you come to this opinion, if I might ask?
Well, we heard about what you did for the Jones baby. Nobody could do something like that unless there was some kind of mysterious power working in them. So we
Guys, I am not a witch. Neither do I practice any kind of occult activity.
But the birds. Why do they only light on your lawn and not your neighbor's?
The squirrels broke my bird feeder, so I've been throwing bird seed out on the lawn. My neighbors haven't, so the birds come here to eat.
But what about your dress and crown thing?
This is my costume. I'm in a Christmas play. I was just about to leave for play practice when you rang the bell. I'm playing the ghost of Christmas past in A Christmas Carol. The crown is actually called a tiara.
What about that wand?
The wand? I don't... Oh, I get it. It wasn't a wand, it was a spatula. I was trying to poke some things down the disposal when you rang. I must have still been holding it by the flat part. Satisfied?
I don't want to be rude, ma'am, but why is there no baby Jesus in your scene?
You mean my crush?
Well, I didn't hear any crash. Did something happen to him?
No. Some people call a manger scene a creche. I didn't mean to confuse you. As far as baby Jesus goes, my family waits until Christmas morning to put the baby Jesus in the manger. After all, we are celebrating the birth of the Savior, aren't we? Just a family tradition.
I want to apologize, Mrs. Palmer. We got the wrong idea about you, and we're sorry.
I'm a devout Christian, boys. Christians pray. As for the Jones baby, I simply went to the hospital to pray for that precious baby, and the Lord graciously caused that child to be restored to his parents. It wasn't anything much that I did except be there.
Well, I guess we should be going. Thanks for those cookies. They were great.
Wait, guys. Tell me about this girl.
Well, she is really cute, and Joe wants to ask her to a church party, but he's afraid to ask.
Becky is good looking, but that's not it. She's smart, but that's not it either. She's kind. She always has something good to say to the unpopular kids when nobody else does. She even will sit with them in study hall. I've seen her helping the slow learners with their work. I just like her.
Well, how about you? Why would she want to go with you?
I can't think of a thing.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Joe, you do the same kinds of things yourself. And you are my best friend when nobody else would be my friend. You hang with me when nobody else will. You even stood up to Billy Jim Haskell when he was gonna pound me. If I was a girl, I would be proud to go to a party with you.
Well said, Chunk. Joe, listen to me for a minute. You were afraid to ask this girl. What's her name again?
Becky Watson.
Joe, you are not really afraid of this Becky, I suspect. You are afraid of failure, afraid of rejection. But it took courage for you to come here to a strange house to talk to someone you considered to be a definitely strange woman.
But ma'am, I was scared spitless.
That is when one shows courage the most. When you are scared spitless and go on and do it anyway. That's the greatest kind of courage. And you both showed it today. One thing more. It is not always the athlete, the class clown, or the smart guys, or even the most charming ones who get the girl. A wise young woman will see past all that and look at a person's heart. Do you think Becky is a wise woman, Joe?
I know I'm not old enough to know much, and I'm not sure I would know wisdom if I saw it. But Becky does have a good heart. To be kind is to be like Jesus, and that's what I see in her.
Then I recommend that you ask her. If she says no, it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you, but I suspect she just might surprise you and become your friend. Both of you, since you seem to be a package deal. She might even go to the party with you, Joe.
Thanks, ma'am. I'm gonna give it a try.
I don't want to be rude, but I must finish getting ready for play practice. Is there anything else?
Do you have any more
No, ma'am.
One more thing. Don't believe every gossipy thing someone tells you.
No, ma'am.
Goodbye, boys.
See ya!
Bye!
The next morning, Joe and Chunk exited the bus and joined the stream of students heading for the school's front door. It was clear and cold, so the pace was rapid. There were puffs of frozen breath rising randomly from the flood of students. But Joe didn't see it. He mechanically moved along, lost in thought. Despite the crowd press, he stopped at the door.
You got this, dude.
Joe nodded grimly.
I can't go with you on this one. I have to see Mr. Reynolds before math class. I'll see you when you get there.
Thanks, Chunk. For everything. I'll see you there after I talk to Becky.
They both pushed through the door and separated into the hall. Joe walked slowly down the hall, muttering to himself, rehearsing his lines. When he got to Becky's first class, he stopped. She was talking to a lady in a business suit whose back was to Joe. He didn't want to interrupt, so he moved off to the side to wait. Becky glanced at him and waved. At that, the woman turned and smiled at Joe.
Hello.
Joe moved his mouth some, but it was a few seconds before sound came out.
Hello? I'm...
This was worse even than he had imagined.
Oh, Joe, let me introduce you to my mother, Eleanor Palmer.
How do you do, Joe?
Fine, ma'am.
Well, I'm sure you have things to talk about, and I have to get to work. Goodbye, dear.
Bye, Mom.
You got this, dude.
Becky? So, I was wondering...
Later, Joe found Chunk waiting outside math class, leaning against the wall, scratching his belly.
Well,
She said yes! Woohoo! Yeah!
They entered the classroom, laughing, for once going happily into math. So, there you have it, my version of A Christmas Story. Did you spot the message hidden in the story? Yes? No? No matter. I hope you enjoyed it.
Joe, can you come here for a moment? Help me get these cookies out of the oven?
Merry Christmas to all. Coming, dear!